Dear students, I am going to start the second part of chapter Nationalism in Europe. Title is The French Revolution and the Idea of Nation. You have already studied French Revolution in 9th class, and the idea of nation is already explained by me in the previous session. Let's start with the detail. After the adopting the new idea of and the new strategy of political and social restructure, a very clear expression that nationalism is in the French Revolution clearly expressed by the people, and the France, and as you would remember, the full-fledged territorial state till 1789, and after the demolition of monarchy by the French Revolution 1789, political and constitutional changes come with the French Revolution, and the transfer of sovereignty from monarchy to the body of citizen of the France. What do you mean by sovereignty? Sovereignty is a power of governance, a power to take the decisions, and it's also called to be the source of power to take decisions. Previously in monarchy, the source of power uh, is remaining to the monarch, but after the dispossession and dismantle being made of by the revolutionaries, the France became full-fledged territorial state, and then after the sovereignty will come into the hand of French people. It means thus all source of power of governance will be decided by the French people. The French people will become the all source of power to take decisions. So it was a very important and landslide changes. After few developments, the French revolutionaries introduced various kind of measures and practices. Could create the sense of collective identity, collective belongingness of to make a nation. Just like to be praise our countries, just like in India we call motherland, but they are called the fatherland, and all peoples are being called not as first state, second state, third state. They all are being made equal, and they all called as citizens. Citizens, it means those people, they have the power to take decisions, and they have a right to exercise their political rights. They have some fundamental rights and duties. So they changes the French laws, French symbols, and introduced tricolor of the French flag, and changes the royal standard. The royal standard was the older national flag of France before 1789. And after all, you know, the state generals, and these state generals being elected by the active citizens, you know, the active citizens who are, and National Assembly, and this state generals will make the National Assembly, and then after the centralized political system was made, and this centralized political system was become more important to be the as inspiration for the neighboring other country. And all citizens with the territory, they have a right to be a formal duty, formulate a uniform laws, all citizens to be obey of a uniform system of weight and measurement adopted. All regional dialects will be abolished. Regional dialects means those kind of languages and their regional versions. They have some variations, and so revolutionaries have evolves this kind of variation and uniformity to be adopted. The version of French language, which was speaking in Paris, was become the standard language of France, French people. And revolutionary being further declared that the mission to the destiny of French nation to be liberate people from the European despotism. It was very important that the French has assigned to them that we are first people to make a radical change in France. So these are our noble duty to make the same in other country of the France. So when they have this news spread in different cities of Europe and other countries, so the people are very enthusiastic because they are going to welcome this kind of developments, whatever changes in France. So they have said the Jacobin clubs and just like institutions in Belgium, Switzerland, Italy, and 17 and 19, and they are going to welcoming the French army to come into their country and establish the national state establishment and destroy the monarchical order, whatever that kind of they have. So after all, you have look the map of the Europe that time. The France was a full-fledged territorial country, the France, and it is Ottoman Empire, and it was Austro-Hungary and Spain and Great Britain. So these countries are being full-fledged states. When after the French Revolution and a very clear welcoming of French army, uh, that time the Napoleon Bonaparte was the monarch of France. Oh, you have get this opportunity to be exploited. So territorial France have taken the huge swath, and swath means a very large plain and large extended area to be under the control of Napoleon, introduced all kind of that rules and regulation they have already introduced in France, like uh, uniform civil code, uniform civil administrative procedures, and measurements, and trade laws. It was a very radical law. It's called a Civil Code of 1804. This is called Napoleonic Code. Very important, Napoleonic Code, and this is a radical introduction of civil laws without any discrimination, and that people there belong from which kind of states or language or gender. So this is very important, and this code was exported for the reason and control of those areas which under Napoleon, like the Dutch Republic, Switzerland, Germany. Napoleon simplified the administrative divisions and make sure that this area will well administered. So he have abolished the feudal system in newly conquered area like Switzerland and German territories, freed the peasants from the serfdom. Serfdom means slavery. Manorial dues were abolished, and feudal system. The feudal system is a older monarchical administrative order where the central monarch and have distributed the whole country into the small lords and generals, and they have given two tasks: first to collect revenue from this territory and arrange the military force, and this military force are given two purposes: to make law and order in their territory, and also to serve the central monarch as per their demand. So this is a feudal system. एक इसे हिंदी में सामंती व्यवस्था ही कहते हैं. सामंती व्यवस्था, इट मीन्स एक राजा होगा और उसने अपने पूरे कंट्री को कई छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में बांट दिया, और हर टुकड़े का एक फ्यूडल लॉर्ड, एक लोकल गवर्नर अपॉइंट कर दी, उसका काम ये होगा कि उस अपने इलाके के जितने भी लोग हैं उन पर कंट्रोल रखे, वहाँ से लैंड रेवेन्यू कलेक्ट करे, उसका एक हिस्सा अपने पास रखे और एक हिस्सा सेंट्रल ट्रेजरी को भेज दे। जो रखे हुए हिस्सा, उस हिस्से से दो काम करे, एक तो अपना लोकल एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन को चलाए और दूसरा एक बड़ी आर्मी को खड़ी करे, उस आर्मी को मेंटेन करे, और जब सेंट्रल मोनार्क उस आर्मी की डिमांड करे तो उसको सर्व करे, उसको सेवा में दे। तो इस तरह से एक पूरी कंट्री छोटे छोटे टुकड़ों में बटा हुआ है, जहाँ के अलग अलग लोकल किंग्स टाइप ऑफ लॉर्ड्स हैं। दे आर नॉट loyal or not responsible to the people's benevolence, they are directly responsible to the king. So this kind of system are called a feudal system. और इस feudal system में बहुत सारे तरह से के टैक्सेस लिए जाते थे, जिन्हें मोनेनियल ड्यूज और टैक्सेस, और इसमें बहुत सारे लोगों को बॉन्डेड लेबरशिप में काम करना होता था, सर्फडम होती थी, ये सब चीज़ें था। तो उन सबको नेपोलियन ने एबॉलिश कर दिया, एक सेंट्रल एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव सिस्टम के तहत कंट्रोल करना शुरू किया, जिसके फ़ायदे भी हुए कि पीजेंट्स, आर्टिजन्स, वर्कर्स एंड बिजनेसमैन, those peoples are being benefited from the new changes. They enjoyed new kind of freedom of trade, business, small scale production goods were increased, realized uniform laws, standardized weight and measurement, common national currency facility. This kind of facility being benefited the whole European areas which were conquered by the Napoleon. However, the area conquered, but after a few days or few months, the peoples of new conquer areas like Switzerland and German principalities and Italian regions, the Holland, they are not to be very keen to the नेपोलियन एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन। धीरे धीरे उन वो नेपोलियन के एडमिनिस्ट्रेशन से उबने लगे और उसके विरोधी भी होने लगे। उसके क्या कारण थे? इनिशियली many places such like Holland, Switzerland, certain like the Brussels, the capital of Belgium, Milan, Warsaw, ये आर्मी वेयर वेलकम्ड एज ए हार्बिंगर ऑफ लिबर्टी। शुरुआत में तो फ्रेंच आर्मी को एक हार्बिंगर मतलब एक संदेश वाहक, एक समझिए कि मैसेंजर की तरह से वेलकम किया गया, जो कि हमारे यहाँ परिवर्तन लाएगा, चेंजेस लाएगा, हमें दुख पीड़ाओं से निजात दिलाएगा। बट ये इंथुसियाज्म बहुत जल्दी एक soon turn into the hostility, एक डर, एक भय में बदल गया कि they are become to be controlled by the अदर काइंड ऑफ डिस्पोटिक पावर, कि एक पहले जो था वो हमारा लोकल किंग का कंट्रोल था और हम एक बड़े के सम्राट के कंट्रोल में चले गए। दे लूज योर पॉलिटिकल फ्रीडम। और इससे कि नहीं होता है कि नागनाथ के हाथ से निकल के सांपनाथ के हाथ में चले जाना। सो दे बिकम वेरी एंक्सियस अबाउट देयर फ्यूचर। और उसके और भी कारण थे कि नेपोलियन हैव एबॉलिश्ड मेनी टैक्सेस बट टू मेक अ यूनिफॉर्म ए न्यू टैक्स एंड a centralized taxation and censorship of the freedom of peoples and open expressions. Forced conscription means जबरदस्ती सेना में भर्ती करना, the French army to require the conquer the rest of the Europe. उसने कहा कि जब मैं तुम्हारे यहाँ पे एक नई सिस्टम को अडॉप्ट कर दिया, उसको इंट्रोड्यूस कर दिया, तो तुम कंट्रीब्यूट करो कि तुम लोग सेना में भर्ती हो कि जो एरिया एक्वायर और नहीं की गई है उनको कंक्वर करने के लिए सेना में आप भर्ती हो। तो दे पीपल्स आर नॉट एग्री टू डू दैट। तो वो लोग तो तैयार नहीं थे कि हम क्यों जाएं, हम अपना खून क्यों बहाएं। तो इस तरह से तो फ्रेंच भी ने भी कहा कि हम क्यों दूसरों के लिए, तो आपको जो मिला है वो दूसरों को भी देने के लिए थोड़ा। तो इस तरह से टैक्स बढ़ाने की वजह से, ज़बरदस्ती सेना में भर्ती करने की वजह से जो एडमिनिस्ट्रेटिव चेंजेस फ्रांस के सम्राट नेपोलियन के द्वारा जीते हुए राज्यों में की गई थी, उसके फ़ायदे धीरे धीरे, उसके बेनिफिट्स धीरे धीरे डाइल्यूट हो गए और फाइनली दिस पीपल्स आर बिकम as kind of as they want to cut off and liberate themselves from the Napoleon control। और इस तरह से एक इनिशियल जो इंथुसियाज्म था वो धीरे धीरे डाइल्यूट होता चला गया। इस तरह से ये जो चैप्टर है, ये जो पोर्शन है वो कंप्लीट होता है। नेक्स्ट सेशन में नेक्स्ट पोर्शन में चलेंगे। थैंक यू।